best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. I saw no shadow, I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt the glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body and hovered above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me from. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Aggressively Average Anglers podcast. Hello, hi, I am well and here, and so is Paul. Look at us, we're back together again, the dynamic duo. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great.
I heard
Last
you
minute
changed the
diaper
diaper.
change got me a little turnt, but I'm okay.
Hey, that's how life goes, right? Y'all, I'm really happy to be back, and I brought apparently all the humidity with me to Michigan. It is suddenly super humid. We've had like crazy storms, so I'm excited for this like post-front condition Saturday fishing fest that I'm going after. Paul, are you coming? Are we fishing?
TBD.
TBD.
TBD. We got
All
options.
right, we'll see if we get out.
My whole weekend is just a chessboard, and you just have to maneuver the parts just so.
Yeah,
And then when everything falls to place, it'll be like, and then
it
you can
is.
do 7 of the 88 things you wanted to do.
It's a holiday weekend, which makes it tough. My birthday is next Monday, so I mean, I'm trying to get a good weekend in if I can. So we'll see. But yeah, we're here to talk about early spring baits. Specifically, the weather's changing, which is funny. Like we're gonna be talking about this, all the cold weather stuff we've been doing, and it's gonna be 70 for like the next ever. I don't know. It looks
Well,
pretty good on the 10-day forecast. That's what
yeah.
I'll say. But maybe you guys are dealing with like these colder conditions. More importantly, what you're probably dealing with is these fish that are finicky. So what's working, what's not working? We want to share with you some of our experience. Obviously, what is working for other people that we see as well that we're going to recommend. We're going to go through the day box today, which I'm really excited about. So if you're listening on a podcast platform, I would recommend maybe checking the vid over on YouTube so you can see what we're talking about, but we'll do our best to describe it as well. And again, as always, big shout out to our sponsor, Monster Bass, for supplying us with a giveaway Schmift card. Should we call it a Schmift card? You guys know what I'm talking about. $25 to monsterbass.com, which we will be schmiving away at the end of the show.
We will schmiv it. I will also say, they schmived us. All of these.
A heck ton of rods, I'll say.
All but 2 of the models that they make.
And they all came in, what's important is they all came in 3 tubes.
3
so
tubes,
it was like,
one of which was cracked like a Pillsbury Doughboy
but they were fine.
Tube of biscuits, but they were fine. But we caught at least one fish on every single setup this weekend.
Multiple.
So that vid is coming, and so are the reviews, hopefully in the next couple of months on these bad boys. So far, very good.
Yeah. I was stoked to get them in hand, let alone to actually get a chance to catch fish on them. We've had like some really tough days, like 1 to 0, 0 to 1 fish days most of the time. And this day, what, between the two of us,
2
35,
dozen,
40?
3 dozen.
I
Yeah.
don't know, a lot. In the 30s, I would say, high 30s. So we caught a lot of fish. That means we put the rods to work so we can actually start to give our thought process on them, how we feel about them. We're not going to give a final verdict. Paul and I always talk about this until the end of the season. That's always the way. You got to put a whole season in on new gear to determine whether or not it's worth it. So we will keep mentioning it throughout videos here and there. You guys are going to see us fish them all the time. We're still fishing tons of Akuma stuff, kind of splitting the diff, and we'll share with you our experience as we go. Cool. Cool. All right. What's up for today? What do you want to chitty chat about, my friend?
So you may have been hearing commercials recorded by us for Audible because
They're stellar, by the way. We are
they're
great
we're
voice actors.
yeah. Well, they're not bad for 7 minutes work. But you may
At
be
the
hearing
end of
those
a show.
commercials because we do have an offering. You get a free 30-day trial using our code,
Hmm.
which is below. But check this out. I would like to know now that I'd like to consider myself experienced now. I'm on my fifth audiobook in like the last 3 months.
Hmm.
My question for you is how many books do you think you can get through in a year?
All right.
And also what type of books are you listening to?
So when I listen to books, I don't listen to any fiction books. Not on purpose per se. I'll say this. I listen to fiction books if I want to fall asleep. And I do like a
Wow.
nice book to fall asleep to. But I can't get into listening to fiction just I'd rather listen to music maybe or a podcast is my
Mhm.
preference. And then if I'm listening to a book, it's 100% of the time a business book. Now here's the funny part about this. I probably, and this is going to be like a generous guess here. I've probably finished 10% of the books in my Audible library, and my Audible library
Really?
probably has about 200 or so business books. I've been a member of Audible for
Yeah.
7 years. The thing is with business books is they tend to hit you with like the good stuff in the first 5 chapters. So the reason I don't finish almost any of those books is because you don't need to. Like the rest of the book is fluff. I'm telling you guys, if you read a business book, read
That's
the first 5 chapters and leave. Like you're good. And some of them are 13 hours. I've read those books; they're 21 hours. It's ridiculous, and the vast majority of it, useless information you don't need. What you need is what you can take action on right now. So that's why I listened to the first 5 chapters. So I've like started but not finished 90% of my library.
wow.
How many of those books? Well, none because they're all
We're written by
pre
Chat GPT was the question.
2021. If there's any books post 2022, 23, we're going to start to see some AI books for sure. But I mean, it still takes a prompt to like put it in the system and say like, here's what I want to talk about. So they at least know something to start with, and then they're like, AI, take it away, baby.
Take me away, Sandman.
I think we should do Paul and I should do like the aggressively average angler's autobiography by AI. We're gonna feed it 2 sentences and we're gonna be like, write
It
a
would be like,
300-page
I got
autobiography.
sunburned. I spent too much money.
Chapter
End of
2,
book.
big sunscreen.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, hood versus no hood. Chapter
Yeah.
4, how to be safe in Crocs.
Everything sucked, and then I bought Crocs. I mean, that sounds about right.
Ridiculous.
Um,
Chaz is chit chatting about Paul's facial hair in the thumbnail for this one. He has facial hair. And when he
yeah,
when he turns when he gives us a profile view this way to the side, you can see it very well.
so I can get through. I have gotten through in a month, just basically commuting. I have gotten through. It is 2 weeks. I can get through a 25-hour book.
Yeah.
Uh, and then, but so I think I could pretty easily get through 20 books in a year.
I
Pretty
think that's
easily.
fair. Yeah.
Long books. And I like fiction books. That's it.
Hmm.
I I despise self-help books, nonfiction, autobiography, biography. I love
Yeah.
history books though. That
There
is
you
like
go.
the only thing that does not that's the one thing that does not match the others. Fantasy. 100% full time nerd and like ultra nerd. one of my favorite closet things that I think that like when people hear about, they're like, "What?" Fantasy books. And I
But
read the crazy thing is I read almost a dozen books a year, like
yeah,
on like just on
on
my phone.
paper.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, on Kindle
same
or
thing.
whatever. I will
No,
say
it's on
this.
my Kindle app. Yeah,
The reason that makes sense to me is you don't play video games and you hardly watch movies or TV.
very true.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's weird at all that you listen to a
that is
ton of
my
fiction
form of
books.
entertainment.
Yeah,
Like that's pretty much my form. Like that's probably 85% of my entertainment.
right?
Yeah,
So
that's
that makes
non-fishing
total
entertainment.
sense
Kind of
because
makes a lot of sense
everybody's got to
actually.
have that escapism, right? So, end of the day, you guys, if you want 30-day free trial on Audible, it helps us out here at the show. Stuff that basically we get a kickback that we reinvest into the show. So, if you want to see us unbox more tackle and review more gear, that's how you help us do that. So, we appreciate it. As always, you guys can also check out our members section. So if you want to become a member to Aggressively Average Anglers, click join below, and then we're gonna do a members only live. What, next week? It's got to be
Yeah,
right.
the
Next
11th,
Tuesday.
April
So
11th.
the April 11th, we'll be hanging out with just a select few, only our members. So if you want to join us there, check it out. We do some pretty sweet giveaways on there too.
So someone said the Mistborn books are good. So the Mistborn books are good. I would highly recommend that you probe Brandon Sanderson if you really like fantasy. So he's the author of those. I've read 4 of his other book series, and they're all better than Mistborn. But Mistborn's pretty good. Uh, if you are a fantasy nerd, uh, reach out to me on Instagram and just make some recommendations for book. I like a series
Love it.
personally. Reach out and we
Yeah.
will. I would be happy to talk I will be happy to talk fantasy books and recommendations, and I will make some. I've probably read whatever you're recommending, and I know some like really nichey weird stuff. So if
Mhm.
you want a recommendation, I'll be happy to share as well.
I love it. The Aggressively Average book talk. Let's go.
Oh, book talk is actually really good. I know we're trying to talk spring fishing. Book talk's
Yeah.
actually super legit.
Okay, hang on. One more thing before spring fishing, and this has to do with fishing. This is not
Go
book
on.
related stuff. So beyond that nerd stuff, have you guys heard of this knucklehead bass tournament
right.
thingy that's being run by Chad Hoover, KBF? There's a whole bunch of people doing it. Recently, Creek Fishing Adventures has been really kicking it off. I think Fluke Master's doing it. Guess who else is also probably doing it? I am, not Paul. Screw that guy. We're
Kind of weird
splitting
you
up.
said it like that. That means
Well,
we're definitely doing it.
I mean, Paul can do it if he wants to. I mean, I'm definitely doing it. Here's the deal, you guys. There are teams for this thing. So if you want to join a team, guess what? There is no Aggressively Average Angler team. We have become a house divided. We are a house divided. So there are 2 teams that you'll see, and you're probably like, if you went onto the Fishing Chaos app to join the tourney and you saw like Creek Fishing Adventures, all these other cool people, you saw these weird team names. One is called Team Flanders and one is called Team Stark.
What do
And
those
that
things
is
have
of
in common?
these are of the Ned variety. So we have chosen team names completely separate. It's me versus Paul, Paul versus me, and the way we decided to do it was I would be Team Ned Stark, and then he's Team Ned Flanders. He's got the flesh dash to like really
yeah.
really match
My
it.
team, my picture, I think is gonna be I'm gonna go find some green pants. I'm gonna get in front of my lawn that's after it's been tended very well.
And you can be
I
like,
am
"Idly
going
doodly
to
do."
take off my shirt, feather my hair, and take that exact photo. And that is what we are doing.
I love it. Team Diddly.
Yeah.
Joshua. But if you guys haven't noticed, we got these little Funko Pop thingies on our shelves. So I got Ned Stark. He's got Ned Flanders.
Mr. Flanders.
So if you would like to join our teams, consider doing so. Diddly dooder
And
so.
diddly. I can tell you right now, I know for a fact if I'm anchoring a team
Mm-hmm.
in a month, I know I can get at least a couple
12
of
inches
19
of
inches
fish.
in there. I know I can get some 19 inches in there. I can do it. So I need somebody who can get me like one more. That's what we really need.
Yeah, it would normally be me, but I'm not fishing for you now. So
Exactly.
just saying. I am known to be very sneaky on the random 3 to 5 pounders.
Oh no,
So
Jeff will
if
absolutely
you want
hold his
somebody to
own. It's not a question.
sneakily hammer you, I got you,
That's
dude.
not that's not a question. I'm not worried about
And
I
we
worry about that. I will
yeah.
sleep not too great at night knowing that it will be tight. I'm more of like I'll get them in groups. Like it'll be
Yeah.
like nothing, nothing, nothing,
Bang, bang, bang.
all out, and
Yep.
then nothing, nothing, all out, nothing, 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 nothing. Like that's how it's gonna go. Like I get like on a hot streak, and
Yep.
I'll have like 2 weekends in a row where I will slap them, and then I'll go a
And that's
month
all
and
it
just be like,
takes, though.
was I even here?
Yeah, so this is a monthly tourney, you guys. We'll be running it, promoting our teams for 4 months. So we start in May, so you can start signing up right now if you want to. You have the entire month to catch your best 5 fish. KBF standards apply. You got to make sure that you measure it on a good bump board. You got your little tourney card visible. The fish, is laid out appropriately. Read the rules, you guys. Make sure you do it right so it actually counts. And then it's the length, right? So we're going most inches. And I think we're gonna have 2 good teams. If nothing else, we will have the most fun teams.
We will have fun. We're still trying to figure out. We're gonna sweeten the pot, so we're gonna offer some additional prizes for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
We're definitely gonna figure that out. Oh, I got Rob here. I got Scott from Honor. Wait, hold on. I got Rob Harrison, aka Scott from Honor.
Everybody's Scott from Honor.
I love that so good. That's just so good.
Oh
Wait,
man.
what happened to Devo? Okay, we have gnarly tornadoes in our area too, my dude. I'm looking out at the sky right now. That
It looks
legitimately
ominous.
right now it looks like
Yeah.
end of days right now. But
It's
I'm
not great.
missing is the actual end of the days. So I
I'm
don't know.
upset that Team Flanders wasn't 69%. You guys really messed that
I just
up.
need to
I'm
remind
sorry.
you. Well, we're going to find a way to sweeten the pot. So we're going to add some prizes in. We may reach out to the folks at Buzbe. We may reach out to the folks at Monster Bass, maybe Okuma. We might put some setups together for some people.
Yep.
So we're definitely going to go do that. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk a little trash. And I'm thinking we leverage the members only. And maybe we get some like tips and tricks and see how people are doing. I think there's a lot of stuff we're going to do. We're going to have the months of, what is it, May, June, and July. Do we get 3? So we get May, June, and July.
I think it's 4 months. I think we get through August,
really?
but we can double check. We start at the same time Rudd does as well, so you guys got to help us as 2 separate teams beat Team Rudd.
You gotta help us. We're gonna need it. We all know it.
And we got to get into our spring bass fishing stuff, so we're going to do that right now. Here's the thing. At the end of this tourney in November, we take the best 4 anglers and we add them to our team roster. So you guys will get the invite in November to come down and fish with us. I think it's in Tennessee. I can't remember. It's down south. Don't worry, you guys.
think it's
November. It's not up here. I can tell you that much. So if you want to fish with us, pick the person you want to fish with, which is obviously me. So let's do this thing. Let's get into spring bass fishing right now. All right. So what's been working for us lately? Do you want to start there? Or do you want to start where we're fishing?
I would even do. Let's do this. Let's start before we start. Jeff and I both have our. Yeah, it is in Alabama. Everybody, I was right. We do have our day boxes.
You didn't say anything.
I said
Did you
Alabama.
say something?
Yeah, I said Alabama.
I didn't hear you say
So
anything.
we have the boxes. So we're gonna go through that in a second. First, let's just talk where to fish. So like you get to the lake. Jeff, what are maybe one to three things? Like what are we looking for in general?
Dude, as cold as it has been, we start with the standard, go to the north. Like where is the sun hitting the water? Where is it warmer? So we start there. Now that's not always necessarily the most productive spot on the lake. Take case in point, this last weekend, what happened up on the north side of the lake, Paul?
Nothing. I got
absolutely
blown around.
nothing.
I got blown around. Yeah.
Where did we end up? Southwest.
Well, there was
this western side of the lake, but it's a good place to start for sure.
There were 2 things that were dead giveaways. While we knew we were looking for fish, and that were like, if we saw these 2 things, that was where fish was going to be. And then there was one wild card. This was this is just what I saw. So what I saw was, if we saw bluegill moving around, and they were frisky, the bluegill / crappie
everywhere.
You could, on the sonar, seeing live, you would watch them like play with each other. They're like darting in and out, like goofing around. It was really cool. But if you saw that and you cast into that, you would start to see bass. So that was the first thing, probably the most obvious to me, at least. The next thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, your show. You
my show. Get out. Number 2 was.
I'll see myself out.
Interloper. The number 2. Devo, get out of here. Number 2 was a drop off nearby. So within like 20 yards, there was some kind of drop off.
Yeah.
where it extended further. So it'd be like a little bit of a flat, and then they had a place to go away, like when the temperature changed.
Yeah.
That was big. Like all the where we got fish consistently, it would be like flat, 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 drop off, and they would be hovering either
Yeah.
right on the drop off or right on the inside of the flat. And you could almost wherever the bluegill were, that was where you casted right there.
Yeah. So
And
I
then
was literally gonna say the same thing, like
oh
a
yeah,
flat to a drop, because when we took these actually the southern bank down to the west side, because it's just like our boat launch on the lake that we were on just happened to like come out to the south side of the lake, right? So we follow this canal, we go to south side. We'll start here. Paul actually started there. I started jetting north. As he started catching fish, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll come back. He called me. What did I say? I was like, sure, fine.
yeah.
I came over, first cast on a jerkbait, slammed a fish, and then 10 others in a row. So yeah, we basically, that spot is really shallow to a really steep drop off. I mean, it's a big bowl of this lake. So I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for cover. Like anytime I'm finding cover, any change in cover, so we're looking for those down trees, those brush piles. We're also looking for weeds, because I mean they're still sparse in the spring, starting to come back in, so you get like just barren wasteland, and then suddenly like one little weed pile. And we're like, okay, let's fish that. You
That was
can
the
go fish that.
and that was the sort of wild card. Like the
Yep.
biggest fish caught was 3.8 pounds or whatever, and it was it was like the sixth cast into that on a real on by far the biggest, like just a random, very thick, large pile of weed that was
Yep.
underwater, and I was basically running a willow right on top of willow blade right on top of it. Took me 6 casts. Biggest fish of the day came from there. But if you saw a stick, if you saw a tree, if you saw a random pile of weeds, there were
Yep.
fish all over it. And that was like the gold mine. That was like, okay, I have to stop what I'm doing and cast there. If you had those
Hmm.
3 things on our day, and now our day, it was very sunny for the most part. It was a little
Yep.
bit windy. We had gusts up to probably 15. And then I think the biggest thing was water temp was just above 40. We were at 42 to 45.
41 to I don't think I hit 45. Well, no,
I think we
I
did.
think I think on the way out, mind you, the back spot by the ramp is like really mucky bottom,
Yeah.
so it's warmer. It's also shallower, the whole section. So the highest I saw it was actually 47, but on the
Mm.
main lake it was like, yeah, 45, 41 to 45 degrees. So it ain't warm. We're still pre-spawning here. We're not quite there. Another 10 degrees.
No, 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 no.
If we have, 70-degree weather for another month, we'll hit like our normal spawning time in that May, June-ish. So
I
hopefully.
think
We'll
yeah, I
see.
think late April, early
Mhm.
May.
I don't think it'll
But
be too weird a year.
no, I
Should
think
be about when it's
but
supposed
this was fine. Like seeing the 50 like, or the 40s was
to.
like
Yep.
it changed everything. Everything changed. It went from no activity, deep water, searching to conditions, throw the baits that we thought would work, and then we started slapping them. Like I said, we each had 6 monster bass rods on the deck, 6 or 7,
Yep.
and we had no problem catching on every rod, at least one fish. So
Yep.
that was awesome. So that's like the where to go and like the general strategy. I mean, you're
Hmm.
looking for again warmer water, a transition area, and then and looking for bait fish. If you see bait fish, you should see bass nearby. So those are kind of your 3 things. Should we hit the
Yep.
mid show or should we wait a minute?
Do you
Because the
want to
mid
start
show's
getting into
great.
tackle, or
Let's go through the first
did you
couple of
have a
baits.
strategy?
I had a strategy, a
I had
strategery.
I always have a
All
strategy,
right,
baby.
I've cracked open the Buzbe, so I have it here. Do you want to go every other one, kind of in order of our
Yeah, you're just talking
favorites,
about what we threw this weekend.
or like what would you typically grab?
Yep. Go.
Okay,
Oh, you
I
guys hear
just
that zip on that quick cube?
oh yeah,
Wow.
I have the cube as well, so I'll go first. I'm gonna grab. Hold on, all the
We're
trebles.
all waiting, bro.
Well, you're gonna have to.
All right. We'll wait.
This is easily my most stuck bait in the whole box.
All right, we'll just keep waiting.
All right, you're good
Totally
then.
fine.
Here it is. All right, so I
Nope,
will
take
say
your
the
time.
first this is where I always want to start, and this is where I started this weekend, and that's a jerk bait. I want a suspending, obviously the appropriate depth jerk bait, a suspending jerk bait. I
Hmm.
find this to be, especially if you have a good sonar, one of the easier ways to find out if you're getting fish interested. This is a Megabass 110 custom colored, but like any suspending jerkbait, Bigger, smaller
So
doesn't really
fancy.
matter, right? I think that's the way to go. What I will
Hmm.
say about this with the jerkbait, first of all, this is where I started. This is where I caught the first fish. But this is actually what got me in the mindset of I need to speed things up because I noticed the nice thing about a jerkbait, you can go slow or fast. I started really slow, and I would get fish come up low, kind of move away. Get fish,
Yeah.
they would come up low, come away. And every time I would do the jerkbait move, they would dip out, and I'm like, well, that's not good. So I started really speeding it up. So I would do these really tiny twitches, and all of a sudden the fish were trailing longer. Caught a
Yeah.
couple of fish, got off the jerkbait, sped up the retrieve because that's what was keying him in, and all of a sudden I started catching fish way more consistently. So that kind of told me like, do I have really active fish or do I have these like really nitpicky, come up, sit on it for 5 minutes, and then you're in jerkbait season. That's like prime time for a jerkbait. So I like to start with I like to start here. I think it tells you a lot if you have sonar. So that's where I like to start.
Well, Mr. Copycat, that's where I like to start too. So yeah, I'll say this, like I was definitely working it faster at first, and I typically do just when I'm starting the day out because I want to find stuff. I want to try to figure it out fast. And then if that doesn't work, then I'll start fishing painfully slow. So I'll vary that up. What I started out with was the X wrap. So I actually fished like all Rapala jerk baits that day. I just liked the ones I had because they got that extra flash to them, and we had that sunny day. So going for the whites and the naturals, and then the one that I did use the majority of the day is actually tied up on a rod right now, so it's not here. But the shadow wrap so it's the 3 treble one, a little bit bigger, but I think they call it bone, and it's like this white reflective material and like a orange belly. It's pretty slick. And that one caught the vast majority of my fish for the day, easily over half of the
All the
fish
natural
that day.
colors
Yeah.
outperformed the bright and shiny. And that was a trend.
Right. So what I do is I alternate. So I'm going with the shallow diver floating, and then I'm going with the deep diver. And I got to a point with the jerk baits where what did I tell you, Paul? I was like, don't ask me to fish anything else. I'm only fishing jerk baits, and then I caught a fish. But yeah, this is the same thing. It's just the shadow wrap deep in the perch pattern. And yeah, that thing is absolute money. So what we kind of ended up doing is like you go to that flat to that ledge, you're either catching fish off the flat or on the ledge, on the drop off, sorry. So fishing that drop off. So what we do is the wind would actually like turn me and I'm just drifting and I cast this way for a couple casts. I'm like, oh, nothing there. And I turn around and go right off that drop off and boom, there you go. And that's when I might switch out, grab a different setup and go with that deeper diving jerk bait. Don't sleep on those deep divers. They actually have like a really erratic action because of that longer lip, so you can get more of that almost 180 turn with them. And of course, if you just reel down real quick, give it a big cast, reel it down, get to that depth, and then you're actually like, doing your jerkbait moves, as Paul would say. I love that term, by the way. Can we make a shirt out of that? Like the
Do my
jerkbait
jerkbait
moves.
move. I would say,
Pop,
and I
pop,
was running.
pause.
So we were in like 6 to 9 feet of water, and I ran a 10-foot diver, and I felt like I
Yep.
was about 8 feet down the whole time, and it was perfect.
Yep.
My next one for me is gonna be either a blade bait or a lipless. One of
Yep.
these two. The nice thing about a lipless versus a blade bait if it's colder, because I'm just going to be going to the absolute bottom. So if I want to
Mhm.
live on bottom, I'll be here. If I got what we had yesterday, this was my next option. Reason being, if you know they're keen on a moving bait, this can work in almost every scenario, like almost every single one. And a lot of the vegetation at the very bottom that would normally maybe be in your way is not there. It's way down or it's gone. It hasn't grown yet. So I think a lipless is money. You can burn it in the shallows. You can bomb it and use that as a search bait. You can
Mhm.
hunt wherever the fish are suspended or where you can meet them wherever they are. But this really only works after you've proven that the jerkbait is not the move. If the jerkbait is that
Yep.
slow retrieve, if that's the move, this is not going to do it. You need to stick with the jerkbait. But after you like, okay, they're chasing,
Yep.
this is where I'm going next. So I'd say this is cold water fishing. This is like always in my mind, my number two.
Yeah. And I go the opposite direction. So my number two got beat up so bad I lost the blade on it. I've been banging on these things, you guys. If you haven't
Oh,
checked out the Fish Lab bio shad or
yep.
tailspin spin shad? Shad spin?
Tailspin.
Tailspin? tail
That's the one.
spinners, whatever.
My
You know,
favorite bait.
they only yeah, what is it called? They only have one, whatever. So the tailspin from Fish Lab, that thing is absolute money. It's got a big old willow blade on it and this natural, again, natural patterns. Look at it. Where'd my tail spinner go? Absolutely just obliterated. Fish just like bit it off. I don't. It's got a premium swivel on it too, so it was
It
weird.
really
Like
does.
it
It's
got caught
super
on him
nice.
somehow. You guys can see that.
It's
Yeah,
got a really nice blade too. That blade is about 10,000 times nicer than I think a lot of the other
it's
ones.
it's insane. I love it. So really good spin, really good flash. It was a gold tail, gold blade on the tail. So just giving off vibes and sounds and shinies, and it was working, man. And I was just burning it. I wasn't doing anything like other than that. So I went from that jerkbait, tailspin. Tailspin was producing a ton, and then I literally only changed because I wanted to fish the other rods in the arsenal.
Yeah.
But then I switched up again. But
No,
go
very
ahead.
valid. Very valid. My next one, and this is actually where I start, like where I went next in the day. Is going to be a finesse jig. So this actually proved to be, I think, the second fish that I caught, first or second. I can't actually remember now. I think I did catch on the jig first.
I think it was first.
Um, yeah, I think this was first.
Yep.
Is a finesse jig. This one happens to be
Hmm.
Beast Coast, but it's just
I
an
love
example.
those.
I'm going natural, maybe marabou if it's super super cold or it's smallmouth, but a finesse jig, really compact because I don't want to miss that bite. And I went with the Little General, which is a tiny craw. It's like a 2-inch craw. It's this big, barely
Yep.
fits on the hook. But again, natural, orange, brown, usually something a little darker. But that football head if I can get away with it, or it's going to be one of these like generic heads, like the
Yep.
ones that just like does everything really well. And I'm going to be running on bottom. I'm not going to be swimming it. I might even be like the slackline guy where I just let the wind blow me around for a minute and just kind of,
Yep.
raise and drop. So that's kind of a no-brainer. This is a fish catcher all year, but it does actually work really, really well if they're not chasing.
I love that we start at the same point and then we just deviate so far.
Diverge immediately.
So where I went to next was the good old Fluky
Yeah, yeah.
Boys. So I actually went weightless right away. It was a windy day, but we were up shallow, so I didn't worry about it. And the color is actually in my boat, but I was using the Zoom. It was a Zoom Fluke in Disco, which I believe is still the same pack that Justin Royal sent me like a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
Been
wow.
fishing that forever. Love
Yeah.
the Disco. It's got like green flake, so it's mostly clear, and then it's green, black, and maybe some silver flake. I can't remember exactly. So it's a shiny Disco ball, right? Rig that up on a 3/0 EWG and just huck it wherever, let it fall forever, and then just hop it a little bit off the bottom. So might give it a little twitch as soon as it hits the water too, just to make it a little more erratic. Then it falls down. Actually, the zooms, they sink pretty good. So I believe they're pretty salted up. So it's the Salty Super Fluke is the one I was using. So the full size, right? And yeah, I got bit right away. Like same spot where you ended up catching what I would call a 19-incher at least. It was a 3-something pounder, 3.5.
3.8. Yep.
3.8. So you caught a pretty meaty fish. What was that on? That one? You're gonna
That was
say it
on
next?
yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'll get
Okay.
there.
Anyway, so like right when you caught that, we doubled up, and then I caught another fish. But on the fluke, it was just like bang, bang, bang on that weightless. What was cool was we had the MB rod. They have a Texas rig rod, and I was like, oh well, your weightless fluke should be fine. I'm gonna hammer it with this 3/0 hook.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. That thing's got some backbone, and it's just fun to fish a fluke. It's more
It
fun in the
is.
summer when you
Yeah.
can like really move it and work it through the pads and like all the mucky stuff. That's my favorite way to do it. But it's hard to beat it. It's hard to beat it, whether it's weightless or not. Welcome, Will, comma space track 71 to the Burly Bunch Elite. Welcome
Dude,
aboard.
welcome.
All
Happy to
right.
frickin' have you. I
Appreciate
can't
you.
reach my water, but I will raise my
Take a sip of
I,
that.
I will raise my next bait. And
There you
this
go.
is so Jeff with his fluke went one way, and I went the other way. I was
Hmm.
still seeing moving
We're zigging
baits.
and zagging.
They were attracted to things that were
Yep.
shiny. We were seeing the tail spins, underspins work. So I grabbed a fluke and I threw it on a chatterbait. I had a big blade working, and I actually had a finesse one working originally, and I swapped it out for the big blade, and that was the jam. I like this for slightly warmer water, or at least when I know they're chasing. So that's why this was like my third or fourth option. I find that these can get absolutely ignored, like 100% ignored
Yep.
when they're wanting a jig or a jerk bait. They don't tend to, at least my opinion, they don't tend to go for these as much. But this is still very much in contention. And if they're moving around, this is a really in contention. Plus, I might get a pike. So then I'm like doubly happy. So
Why
this
not?
one did catch for me. I think I caught 3 or 4 on the old bladed jig. So holy crap! Another
Oh,
no,
hey.
Lauren Campbell. Welcome
Oh,
to the
hey.
what the heck is
What is
going on?
going on
Yes,
right
and
now?
Carrasco. Welcome to the Charducers. All right, I'll reach over for this one.
Yeah,
Cheers, y'all. Frickin'
appreciate all
welcome.
3 of
Happy
you.
to have y'all.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
See you on Tuesday. Not
what you're
next
thinking,
Tuesday.
Josh.
The upcoming Tuesday.
Josh.
I love it.
Anyways.
All
right.
that's mine.
So-
You got another one, Jeff?
Yeah, so actually, like, I stuck with those 3 the entire day. Like,
Yep.
I used to be, I'll admit this, all right? Hi, my name's Jeff. I was a kitchen sink fisherman.
What?
Well, you guys are literally off
Mainstream
the chain right
coming
now.
in. What's up,
Mainstream,
brother?
what's up? Member for 5 months now in the Burly Bunch. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate the continued support. Hey, by the way, you guys reached out to us about being on the podcast, your podcast which is after our podcast. Obviously
Yes.
not today, but we can line that up. Apologies for not responding. I was on vacation, in vacation mode. I don't respond to anybody. But not even Paul. Heck that guy.
Who?
Yeah, he did.
So
You're
Jeff,
right.
you have a
All
problem.
right, I respond to you
what's
too.
what's your problem?
With
You carry too
I
much
fish
tackle?
everything. I said my name's Jeff. I'm a kitchen sink fisherman. That's what I do.
Yes.
Scott Vermonter with the hell yeah from the Chartreuse crew. You guys are showing up tonight. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I used to throw literally everything until it worked. Now I actually put some thought into it. Weird, I know. But I'm trying to figure out based on what I'm seeing now that we use live scope, I can learn. I'm learning a lot more, a lot faster,
Yeah.
which is really cool. But I can respond to what the fish are doing. So I was pretty smart about it. The stuff I was throwing was catching. I was using all the rigs in the boat. I was happy with that. The one rig I hadn't used yet, though, was the medium light spinning stick that we got. So the next rig that I went to was not this one specifically. This is just the only one I got rigged up. Was the good old Bronco blade. I was like, you know what?
Oh,
I gotta-
now you went somewhere else before that.
No, I didn't.
The
Where?
Ned rig.
No, that's where I ended. That was the last thing I went to. Are you sure?
Yeah, very.
That was the next bait I was gonna.
We
I
were
was
on
gonna
that
talk
drop
about.
off, but as we were headed to the north end, and you were running the Ned rig, and
Yeah.
I caught 2 on the jig, and the Ned rig I think
I
produced.
broke off because I was under. All right, I'll tell you guys this right now. Here's what happened. I did end on the Ned rig. That was going to be the next bait I was going to talk about. Oh my gosh, the Burly AAA hype man is. I can't read the last part of your
Say
name,
my
brother.
name.
Kind of a swear word there.
I like it.
Say my name.
He says the
Hey.
Burly AAA hype man is Paul's hero in real life. I
Ugh.
agree, 100%.
Why'd you be that guy's hero? All right, so fine. I'll talk about the Ned rig. So here's the thing, you guys, with the MB rods, I want to prepare you for this, and we mentioned it in this video. They are never underpowered. They are
No.
only ever potentially, not always,
At or above the power
at or
rating.
above power rating. So this medium light, it's got some backbone, and I was used to fishing the tournament concept that I have from
Which is
Akuma.
super whippy.
Super whippy, featherweight medium light, like super lightweight. And therefore you can run lighter line. So I have light braid to light fluoro on there. So I'm running underrated line for the medium light that is the Monster Bass medium light. So
Yep.
I was trying to fish a 1/4 ounce Ned because we're trying to go deep in windy conditions, and that's where I go, 1/4 ounce. Immediately broke off. Got a hit, would have been, a fish. Who knows if it was decent or not, doesn't matter. Bit off, gone, right? So the next I did was the Ned, and I think specifically I was throwing the Ned locks
Yep.
because that's our go-to.
Chartreuse.
Paul actually made a video on the Ned locks
Just
today
posted
on our
it. 7
Instagram.
people saw it.
So that one right there, it's got that little keeper on there,
Yep.
which is like arguably the best keeper on an EWG Ned head that you're gonna
Lauren
find.
Campbell upgrades to Chartreusers.
Gosh dang.
My boy, welcome,
All right.
sir.
Well, now you get to come to the Tuesday party.
Yeah, you do.
There you go. We'll see you on the following Tuesday.
Oh
That's-
yeah. the next upcoming Tuesday.
Literally can't ever
My
say that.
now
Or
my
Thursdays.
my next one actually was almost I think actually is what changed the day when I really was like, dude, they are chasing.
Yeah.
Second biggest fish caught was on this bad boy right here.
Yeah.
It was in bone, granted. So this is the new money badger, which I
Mhm.
think you guys have been seeing all over the Alex Rudd internet. But actually, these are really interesting. I like them, I do.
They are.
But they're really interesting. So you could see there's these two weight transfer pieces right here. These two pieces of metal.
Yep.
Like that's all the weight. These things are small. Like actually both of mine are 10-foot divers.
Yep.
This is a 10-foot diver. I mean, it doesn't even go to like my second knuckle.
They're
These are
tiny.
small. These things are tiny. They cast pretty well, way better than you would think. They make a small profile in the water. What I kind of like about them is they actually do get down. I had a
Yep.
pretty short leader, like 4-foot leader, and I was still getting down to like that 8-foot range. So even with mostly braid, I was getting where I needed to be. The action was very good. They're not all of them are like super loud. This one's pretty, average. Freaking sweet bait though. So caught a fish on one of these. This is normally where I go though.
Yeah.
Flat-sided
That was in
crankbait,
my tackle
especially
box.
in the river. You go square bill.
Yep.
This would be the other option, but somewhere in here for a crankbait, that's gonna be like again when I know they're moving. That's like option 5 or 6. It's not
Yep.
as high at the top. I know a lot of guys will. This is their number 1 or 2.
Right.
I totally get it. For me though, a lot of times I'm going for the jerkbait first, and then I'm going for the lipless, and then I'll
Yep.
stop there because I'm on them. But this is a really, really good option. This flat side for cold water, and then almost always natural. Something silver, something perch, something bluegill. That would be another one for you.
Yeah, so those are definitely always in the day box this time of year as well. So you can look at like Strike King, the Chick Magnet. That one right there is that's a Rapala, right? The Oddfo. I think
Correct.
Ott's
The
Garage or
OG.
whatever they call it.
The OG.
Yeah.
OG swim.
So yeah, I like those. This is a circuit board lip, right? Which is going to give it a little different action. Main kind of thing is like you just got to pay attention to what's going on. If you're bank fishing, if you're kayak fishing without sonar, if you don't have the electronics, then you're literally just go to those target spots, kind of like what we were talking about. And if you're not getting bit, if you're not seeing a fish followed out, so make sure you're wearing your polarized sunglasses, preferably from Waterland that you get through
Using our
link,
code
which
to
is
get
the
50% off.
description below. But like, if you're not seeing fish, if they're
Yeah.
not reacting to your bait in a positive manner, then you change it
Yep.
up and you try to vary. Paul and I have both kind of been mentioning these where you're going from like top to bottom water column, you're changing up the retrieve speed, going for something that's more erratic versus like a dead stick Ned rig. Like you can do all sorts of different stuff like that and just see what's working, what's not. It takes a little bit longer, obviously, without forward-facing sonar, which is why I love having it. It's definitely kind of cheat codes. But if you don't have it, yeah, like that's where I was the kitchen sink. Like that's where I was throwing everything because I was trying to figure out. Now I feel just much more confident using less baits. Like I'm just
Oh
getting
yeah.
more and more confident every single season, which is awesome. So I think it's my turn. Where did I
Yeah.
go from there? The only other bait I threw that day was a Bronco blade. So
Yeah.
that was it. And I got a fish on it, and it was a bass, and I was excited. It was not this exact colorway. We had to go heavier because it was so windy. So we were throwing the 32nd ounce mule jig and the full size donkey tail. I ended up going with a black jig head, green pumpkin tail, and the gold blade because the gold blade on the Fish Lab tail spin was just working so well for me. So I was like, all right, we'll stick with the same kind of color pattern, natural with gold flash. And it worked. What do you make a face of that?
I do have another one. Now I can't set it up for you because I don't have all the pieces, but
Oh no, a complicated one.
no, it's not complicated, but I don't have all the pieces for it. So this is what caught the 4 pound, almost 4 pounder. So this is a 5
Yep.
inch Kitech.
Oh, the
So
underspin. I
green
got
pumpkin, and it was on an underspin. And it was on a pretty
Yep.
big one. Half ounce. So
Mm.
pretty sizable.
Yep.
The dude that what ticks me off, and this is crazy, it took me 7 casts, caught the biggest fish of the day. I was in
Yep.
a targeted spot. Once I was not in a targeted spot though, I downsized. This is the X swimmer, which by the way, I will recommend you guys if you're not wanting to pay for Kitech.
Yep.
This is the same exact thing.
Yep. It's a
This
rib
is the
body,
same. This is
paddle
the same
tail,
bait.
same shape.
It bangs. They
Yeah.
have great colors. They have the only ones you need.
Yeah.
And they come in a couple sizes. This is a cheap bait. This is a great bait. Just a, I'm just throwing it out there. I know people are, whatever, but this is
Yeah.
this one slaps. I am a Z Baitco fan personally, big fan.
Yeah.
These slap. I had these on an underspin. I could not buy a bite on this one. And I was actually, I'm still trying to, like, in my mind figure out why this wouldn't get chased, but the larger one did. I'm
Because
still
you found the big fish that wanted
I
the
know
big
I
bait.
found the
That's
spot,
all it
but
was.
we were in fishy spots. We were catching fish
We
on. I was catching them
were.
on the chat in the same spot. I was catching them on
Mhm.
chatterbait. I was catching with a jig, and I was catching them with a crankbait, and I couldn't catch them with an underspin. So that was really surprising to me.
Yeah.
But this is still, I think, in most cold water situations, it's either going to be this or a spinner bait.
Mhm.
One of the two. The blade goes above or it goes below. One of the two. It's a great option. For me, though, this is like 45 plus degree water. I think it's like a slightly warmer than what we're dealing with right now. When it's still like post, like just after ice out, I'm not grabbing
We'll be
this.
there. We'll be there in a week.
This will be
So I might
prime
even use it
time
this
in like a
weekend.
week or two. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would say like the biggest fish of the day, which you caught, was on the underspin. But I feel like this is such a lake where you end up with that big fish if you find that isolated structure that nobody else is going after. I mean, I caught that near 5 out there on that same body of water on the jerk bait, but
Yep.
they're either hunkered down or they're roaming and they're random. So second biggest fish of the day, I caught on the tailspin, which was off the drop off by the little drainage section, right, on that lake near the north end. But again, felt kind of random because every other fish was 12 to 16 inches. It was like at best. So yeah, it's just that kind of lake, man. You're catching dinks most of the time, maybe a good mid-sized fish, and then sometimes we know they're there, but you got to get real specific and real smart with them if you want to catch those biggets. That's the way I feel about it. All right, 45 minutes in, time for a mid-show segment. What do you say?
Oh yeah.
All
We
right,
have a good one. So I did
this
like a
is interesting.
series. I did like a series of real spooling, real construction slash deconstruction. Jeff did one that was putting on the Gomex's handle, the longer
Yep,
handle. 100 millimeter, was it 110? Do you remember?
it's 100.
It's
It's the
100.
new
So
Abu Garcia, specifically for the Abu Garcia SX, the Revo SX, and the STX. So it's a little bit longer. It comes in red and black, and it's the kind of like longer, somewhat cylindrical
yeah,
knobs on there as well instead of the
yep.
paddle knobs, which was kind of nice.
The power knobs.
Power.
And and Jeff mentioned that you get more torque, which I think he just meant to mean like in general you get more power. Someone
I
got
just
on and they were like,
said what I saw
that
on
someone got on
Comex's.
there. He goes, that's impossible. He goes, that's impossible. And I go, tell me more. I don't understand what you're saying. Basically, I'm like, no, you do. And he was like, in a really jerky way, he goes, basically, explain it to me, prove yourself. And I wasn't gonna
He
actually.
said in simple terms. I love that.
If you want to, and I didn't want to go
Yeah.
through the whole thing, right? So I didn't
Right.
want to. But after a while, I was like, you know what? Maybe he's just that's his tone. Maybe he's like your parents via text. They don't know how to communicate tone via text message. Maybe this is
Sure.
that guy. So I was like, all right,
Yep.
I'll jump back into the pool here and I'll try and explain myself. So I went through and I said, look, what you're getting with a longer handle is you're getting more revolutions of the spool per turn
Yep.
because it's longer, and because of that you actually can turn faster, easier, because you have way more leverage. So the power, which is, I'll call it power, is all coming from additional leverage and the ability to turn the spool faster. And he goes to me, he goes, you didn't pass physics, did you? I was like, and I was like, okay,
He didn't read your
professor.
response at all, is what it
I'm like,
was.
okay, professor,
Yeah.
please explain for the class, because I mean, at the end of
And
the
then
day,
no response, by the
and
way.
God never got a response.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you have a larger handle or a larger wheel, you have more power. Now, it does take more power to generate that,
Mhm.
but as far as a person turning that handle, especially with like the bearings and everything, it is equivalently easier, if not easier, But because you have more leverage on that fish, you actually do have, we'll call it power. And it's just what you're really getting is additional leverage that like that's how every lever on planet Earth works. That is the
Here's
physics of it.
great example. When you get a larger wrench, is it easier or harder
With the
to
additional
turn?
leverage.
Oh, it's easier? That's right.
That's just
That's why those
if you
big
were gonna
pipe
build the
fittings
pyramids, if you're gonna build the pyramids, you're gonna have
yeah.
big booty lever.
Yep.
I
Big
thought it was really funny because people will get up there and they'll get on their
yeah.
soapbox and they won't get off. And I was like,
Even if their soapbox is made of tissues and
tiny
it's
levers.
nonsense.
It's like I
Made
want
of tiny
you
levers.
to, I want
I live on
you.
my soapbox made of tiny levers.
It was interesting because I actually wanted him to explain
Yep.
to me what he thought. Like he asked me that
Yep.
question. I was like, I was gonna ask you that question. What are you talking about? Because I know what I'm talking about and I can articulate what I'm saying. Can you please do that? Now, if he's saying you can't get more actual torque, like actual legitimate
In
torque,
the
which
reel.
in the reel, sure,
Yep.
I can't. I'm not changing the gearing. I'm not doing any of that. But I
Yep.
do have way more leverage, and so I can make more. I can make the spool work harder, easier.
Right.
That's real. That's just real. That's why if you go and you look out at like some of the upgraded, like more expensive reels, they're gonna have longer handles when they can get them. So that's
Yep.
part of it for sure.
It was interesting. And yeah, I mean I don't care. Like I'll admit
It's
I'm an
just
idiot as soon as
that
anybody else
guy
would.
planted his flag pretty hard, and then I
Yep.
never heard from him again.
Of course. That's the way that's why I don't even I didn't even know that comment happened. You told me about it. I
Well, you
was
were
like,
on
"Oh."
vacation.
Yeah. I was like, "Neat." Yeah, so it's been it was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. You guys, you tell us in chat right here. Do you like some of these more instructional reels? If we're like, it's basically like a mini YouTube video. We don't
Yeah.
mind making them, and they seem to be doing better than whatever we were doing before, which was like tanking for the longest time. I
We
was
had a
like,
rough
and
week this week too.
we had a rough 3 months, I think. Like, it's pretty bad. I was like, man, doing work for free has never been this hard before.
Oh god,
Freaking
yeah.
Instagram. All right, so I think we're at that point in the show.
Robert
No?
Stankwitz, you want me to show you my turd? Is that a joke or do you want to see my turd?
Wait.
It says TRD.
Oh, this is why I need to read the
Uh,
chat.
show me my. You don't want to see my turd because
the day the channel got banned.
2 days ago, 2 days ago, I ate my really good buddy bought me 7 or 8 different kinds of very, very hot sauce. I've been eating habanero taquero sauce for 4 days straight. You don't want to see it. I couldn't show it to you with if you wanted me to. He goes, "Show me the small lever." Don't have one of those. Sorry. I only know about power.
Recently upgraded to a larger
All
lever,
I've got is the
so
torque. Torque for days.
all I got is torque. All right. So yeah, I mean, listen, you guys,
Show me your
let's
turd's
get
actually a good.
nope.
That's a
Let's
good T-shirt.
okay. We already
Show me.
have like the TRD on a shirt.
So what? I can't do another one.
Which is available below this video if you guys want to pick some up. There's also decals.
Oh, here the
So
decals are up.
yeah, the decals. We made the decals, man. They're everything you have ever asked for. It's all there, guys.
Hats. That's not. They're
Um,
not there.
did you mention it? Oh, sweet.
Please don't show us
That's
anything.
good. I wasn't there. Don't worry.
Uh,
Fishing under pressure, we will not.
you won't be seeing a
So
TRD.
what are we saying about early spring bass fishing? I think what we're saying is if we can get back on track, okay, big lever and no things. I have a big lever.
It's more than 120 millimeters though. So
You know what? All right. Yeah, Isaac Weaver's gonna unsubscribe because you're talking about showing your TRD.
I haven't shown it. I'm not gonna go. I said I wasn't going to. You're safe.
All right, we're moving on to slow rolling thunder. To cap off early spring bass fishing, y'all, we showed you some of the top baits that we're using right now. I think there was a total because we had some double ups there of about 8. If you're throwing those things, I can promise you, you're gonna get on some fish. Make sure you're looking for the right kind of cover, and yeah, pay attention to those water temps and what the fish are doing. What are they keying in on? Find the bait fish if you can. Find those drop offs. Find those flats. Find those fish. Cool. Start chatting, you guys, because we're gonna do a slow rolling thunder. You know what that means?
How many
We got to
people are in the
schmiv
room?
away.
How many people are in the room right now?
Chaz, numbers. Ooh, you guys are
Oh.
so close to a super secret extra schmiv
Mm.
away. If only you
Big
had.
lever gang. Yo.
I want a schematic of a reel, right? So picture this: there's a schematic of a reel, and it shows the 90 millimeter reel handle that you get normally. This is like stock, and then you just show the extended 110.
Big lever
Big lever gang.
I'm gonna write that down. I don't know if I can do this or not. I don't.
I have more torque than you.
Maybe if I just did like like I did a deconstructed, uh, like a handle, and it's like a 120, and it says "Big Lever Gang."
Big lever gang.
So big
That's like what
lever.
Gomexis is all about, you guys. Like they get that optional third party extended lever,
I'm sorry, but Big Lever Gang has me juiced right now,
big reel enhancement.
bro. Big Lever Gang. Oh my
Shots, we can't do
god.
that.
I'm sorry. That
Oh, somebody said Viagra for reals. Yeah,
Rob
it's a
Harrison goes,
name brand. That
the
is a
shirt.
trademark. Can't use Viagra.
Rob Harrison goes, this shirt is gonna be demonetized.
Oh, 100%. We could make a shirt that just says this shirt's demonetized. I should
Demonetized
show us your turd.
again. This shirt is demonetized,
Oh
dude. I'm
no.
dead. You
All
guys are
right.
killing it.
Well, let's get into slow rolling thunder,
Ooh,
y'all.
all right, all right, all right.
Most of you
So
guys are already following the rules, so make sure that you're chatting or
we're
saying
at
something.
124?
Well,
Bro.
who
Give
has
us a
one
guess there.
friend? Not Paul. Paul has no
Get one
friends.
friend. All right. Did
Do
we
we
hit
have
it?
125? Should we, since we're talking about big levers? Oh man, I have that. No, I'm gonna save that one. You know what? Here's the deal. I'm gonna save the big lever giveaway. Sorry, giveaway for the members only live. So, Chaz, you can't even handle this. So we will have a Abu Garcia Revo SX. It is not brand new, but it is good, and it has the new Gomexis handle on it. I'm not gonna use it, so if one of
Big
y'all,
levers brought a crowd in.
there we go, big levers to bring everybody in. There you
Oh my
go.
god. Big
Were
lever
you attracted
gang.
by the big lever?
Big lever gang.
Welcome to the Big Lever Podcast.
I'm so goddamn dead. Ooh, all right. I'm gonna ask the question. We're gonna do
Hang
we're gonna
on, I'm
so
not
now
even done with the
oh,
rules yet, man. So
oh.
all I'm saying is super secret Schmiveaway will be on the members only live. If you are a
Oh.
member, Chartreuse or Snorlax crew, you will have an opportunity to win a nice big lever. Aubrey Garcia, Revo SX, new Gomex's handle. It will be somebody's. I don't need it anymore. You guys can have it. On
Big
this
lever
one, though,
gang.
since we did pass the secret number, are we doing just a tackle Schmiv?
Yeah.
Tackle Schmiv?
Yeah.
All right, I'll throw some tackle in a nice, safe PVC bag for you guys. Don't get stabbed when you.
God.
I don't have any tackle
Okay,
boxes
so
anymore, but I'll make a bag.
okay, the way you enter, if you're one of the 10 people or 11
Thank
people
you.
who joined in the last 2 minutes, if you want to be involved in this giveaway, you just have to chat something. This one, the first one, we're going to go
Is
through the
that
first question. We're going to go through the first question. That'll be for the $25 gift card. I think that's what we're going to do.
yeah?
So let's do that. And then the question is, so start chatting, just type anything in that you want. The rest of the instructions are on the screen. Jeff,
Follow the instructions.
I'm gonna set the scene for you. You're a high schooler, maybe you're a junior, maybe you're a senior. You have a vehicle, you have a mode of transportation. You
Okey
have
doke.
free will, you live in the United States of America, so you can do whatever you want. It is a Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and you have decided with your free will to exercise it in the only way possible. You are not going to go to further your education. You're gonna skip your educational duties for the day. You're gonna skip school.
Okay.
What would you do with that day? You as a high schooler, what would you have done instead if you decided to skip for a day?
I have to put myself in high school shoes.
Yes.
If I were me in high school and I skipped, I was a BMX bum.
I knew.
Here's what I have done / would do again is my buddies and I rented out a indoor skate park, for BMXing, and like we're the BMX nerds because I mean you don't want to deal with like running over skateboarders and scooter kids and fruit booters, so we had to like go. It's a rollerblader. So we would go rent it out and just throw down. And we used to do that from like midnight to 6 a.m. You do like an overnight. You show up at midnight, they shut the place down, and you just ride all night. That was amazing. One of my favorite things of all time. So I'm a high schooler. I'm probably getting like some Jones soda.
Oh yeah,
circa when we
Sobe.
were in high school.
The
So
Sobe.
I'm gonna get some Jones soda, maybe some Sobe energy, you know, and like I'm gonna shred. I'm gonna throw down. I'm gonna go. If it was me in high school, like that's what I would have done.
Yes.
100%.
There's nothing wrong with that.
110%.
That's a good answer. I knew that was going to be your answer.
Yeah. How'd you? All right. Well,
I just
something.
knew. I like when I was writing the question, I was like, I know what Justin's answer is going to be.
All right.
That's not a bad thing, I don't think.
So what's yours?
Nope.
Jobs?
It depends.
Gotcha.
It depends on the season. So if it were summer, I would probably opt for skateboarding and general vandalism. That probably would be for me. That would be for me. I was never an Osiris guy, but I would be running the Etnies and we would be scuffing up some surfaces. That's what I would be doing.
Were the Osirises the biggest skate shoes on the market?
Can't do it.
Those were
Even
literal...
I thought those were dumb. Even I thought those were stupid.
Yo,
you couldn't hide those under. You could not hide those under vintage Lee pipes. Okay, they could not be hidden.
Not at all. But do you remember? Well, not remember, but you've seen like the pontoon assists on kayaks, like the little side buoys.
Yes,
that's how big Osiris shoes are.
Tied for volume, taken up on planet Earth. It's completely. They're completely insane. They're completely insane. Though the thing is, though, with the Osiris shoes, you were only one of two characters on Earth. You were a complete poser, and you never skated, and you don't even own a skateboard, or you were really like gifted, and you were a savant on bearings like that. You were. There was nowhere in between. You could.
And there was a simple test.
Can you kickflip? And then I was like, okay, you're legit. And then
no chance.
Well, you didn't even need to know. It was Osiris shoes. It was either they were absolute trash and you couldn't afford a new pair, you were good, or they were squeaky clean and you were a poser. But there was no in between with the Osiris. Nothing.
Yeah. Everybody knows.
If it was winter though, and this was never in question. If it was winter, we were snowboarding, and it was gonna be Black and Milds, 2-packs, and then potentially someone could get some alcohol, and we were gonna do that.
And then the children with their Black and Milds,
dawn until well after dusk. Night skiing in Michigan is like a big thing, and so we'd be holding on the
hitting the park.
Yeah. Osiris Jinkos, 100%. That was always within the budget for you. That's what you were getting.
The solid combo. The scariest kid on a skateboard though was always the kid with those just like flat slip-on Vans, because you're just like, for real? And then he would go shred.
Broken shred.
Like, okay.
I was a big Element guy because they had the Thai version of those. Yeah, and I thought those were the coolest, and they always were. The Element skaters, I was always down with the Element skaters because they were boring as hell, but they had the best tricks, and they always had the big flat. I hated Bam Margera. I mean, I just didn't like that he drank so much. I love
insane person.
Yeah, I was never. I mean, I get it, but not for me. All the Etnies guys were like really straight laced. They were but they were always competing, and all their stuff, like all the Element stuff, was like really like kind of muted and subtle. Totally my game. So yeah, that was for me. Should we? That was from last week. Jeff. Don't delete that. I want that in there. Don't delete that. Control Z yourself.
I did.
And thank you. And then so we're ready for the $25. Chaz, will you please run us? Spin the wheel of death. Well, the wheel of giving. Who gets it? Who's getting the $25 Monster Best gift card? Alex Heimberg? Yes. Alex Heimberg. You are the winner. You are the winner.
Congrats.
You know that he knows the drill. He knows the drill. So
we ain't gonna tell you. We probably have your info.
Probably somewhere.
But send it anyways, the way that you do.
All right. While we're waiting for him, We're gonna do 2 more questions, and
And
then we
another
will do
schmooze.
the tackle bag giveaway, the one that Jeff's putting together for you right now. That will be a danger to whoever opens it.
It's a danger to
And
me right now. Chaz, can you run a poll? I'm gonna add one more bait. Ask chat if they want the bait that's in my right through my right finger or through my left finger.
you mean red pill or blue pill?
Yeah, exactly. The
All
bait
right.
on the right or the bait on the left.
Tackle bag is for big levers
Chat, you're
only.
gonna
This is
pick,
great.
and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It'll be eight baits. What is this? A monster bass box in a 6 cents bag?
Oh god. We're all fired. All right, so
Yay!
for the question, John Wick, which you just saw in the theater, was it a
Do
banger
you want to
or,
know about it?
was it a banger?
Okay. Okay. So those of you who have not seen John Wick Chapter 4, those of you who have seen it, don't spoil it for people in the chat, please.
No,
I will
don't do
not be
that.
spoiling
Don't
it
do
right now.
that. No.
What I will tell you is that if you have not watched all of the John Wicks before seeing this one, you have to. Like, it's required. This is one of those series.
It's required viewing for anyone, whether or
Well,
not you're going to see
it
number 4.
should
You
be.
should go see
What
it.
I'm saying is that, contrary to say somewhat Fast and the Furious, like, this is much more sequential. Like, you have to watch them in order.
Yeah.
I brought my wife in on chapter 3 randomly one time, and a big mistake, and she was like, "Why are we fighting on horses?"
Tell
And I
me
was
more
like,
about
"Why
a
wouldn't
pencil.
we be?"
Why is the
So
pencil important? Yeah, there's
so if you watch 1 through 3, you're good. Now go to chapter 4. It was one of my best movie going. Left finger one? All right. Hey, left finger it
Hold
is.
on.
You
Well,
get.
here's Rocco Blades goes to this day, and all I can hear is to this day. He says, I'm wearing Jinko jeans. So, Rocco, you went for
Yes.
being very cool to not cool, but you're back. I feel like your time is now. Don't change now because you are going to be very cool for the next 5 years, 6, 7 years, maybe.
All right. So back to John Wick. As I was saying, this was one of that I can remember one of the best movie going experiences that I've ever had in my life. It was that enjoyable.
Whoa.
There's been several other videos that I found,
Whoa.
like,
Did you go alone or
Infinity
were you with
War
did you go alone or with wifey?
with wife. So my wife and I got away on vacation. So I'm at Universal City Walk, and there was 2 rows in the theater. We were one of the 2 rows. That's it. Like, well, there's a whole theater, but like only 2 rows were filled. So we're in those 2 rows, and it's like that IMAX kind of experience going on. The both rows, full participation. So full, awards, medals of honor go to everyone at the theater. We were all in it to win it. It was epic. So when you say banger lowercase, no, it was a banger all caps and multiple repeating exclamation points.
I'm very happy with that.
You guys have to go see it in theaters. Do
really
not
should.
wait till it goes streaming or whatever, or don't buy it on Blu-ray.
I
Watch
didn't
it in theaters. It's
I didn't
amazing.
see John Wick until 2 years ago.
Yep.
I watched all 3 at one time, back
Good
to back
choice.
to back,
Great choice.
while I reorganized all of my tackle.
I don't
It
know how you
was
didn't
a
stab all of your
It
fingers.
was a heavenly experience.
Yep.
Would recommend to everyone. Perfect. All right. This one we got. So, you know how there's like popcorn. You can get like just
You know how
popcorn.
there's popcorn.
You can get
What a sentence.
you can get buttered popcorn.
You know
You
how
can
there's
get
levers?
popcorn
There's
with
big
butter and
ones,
salt, right?
little
That's
ones.
traditional popcorn. That's what everyone thinks of when they think of popcorn. But then you have alternative corns that have been popped. You have
Yep.
Cajun. You have black pepper. You have white
Okay.
cheddar. You have Detroit mix, Chicago mix, right?
Yeah.
Where you get the caramel and the cheddar and the regular all together.
What we call
There
the
is-
Lakeshore in Michigan.
Sure,
Because we don't
there's-
want to call it Chicago.
There's jalapeno popcorn that you can get.
Jalapeno.
So you can get all of these types of popcorns.
Yeah.
What in your mind is the apex of alternative popcorns?
Of alternatives. I will say this, the absolute non-apex. If you guys haven't seen these, they sound absolutely atrocious. Sour Patch popcorn. There are like gummy flavored popcorns.
Oh.
No. The answer is no, absolutely
Oh.
not. The science has gone too far. So
we didn't. Oh yeah, there's kettle cooked. We did not stop
Yeah.
to think whether or not we should.
Exactly. So I would say, man, it kind of. All right. based on the merit of sheer enjoyment, could eat it anytime I ever found it. It's got to be, I think it's the black bag with the corn on it. Is that Smart Pop? The Smart Pop white cheddar.
Yeah.
I would hammer bowl after bowl of that. Like
Yes.
absolutely demolish it. The white cheddar, specifically Smart Pop, there are other ones far inferior to Smart Pop. They're just not.
Oh, really? Because
They're not
I like
great.
what's the white girl one?
It's a
Haley eats
white
it.
girl.
Yeah, it's the 0 calorie, like it's not made of anything version.
I know exactly what
The
you're talking
white
about.
bag.
I can't think of it. The name of it. I know
Smart
exactly what
Pop.
you're talking about.
Smart Pop.
I think
What
it's.
is it?
Isn't that what I just said?
Yeah. What is it called?
Then I'm thinking of a different one. It might be Smart
Skinny
Pop.
Pop.
Skinny.
When Haley
She
comes in, you
shouted it.
idiot. You dummy. It's Skinny Pop. Actually,
Yes.
it is. It's actually pretty good.
Oh,
It
God.
definitely. So everyone in
What's
the
the
chat
white
knew what was
girl?
going on. It's pretty good. It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I would yeah, dude, movie theater popcorn is on another level. It's also going to kill you. I think, in my
100%.
opinion, honestly, caramel popcorn is so decadent that it does it for me.
Unless you get
Like,
the kernel.
oh, if I get the one that's completely coated and attached, they're all attached and it's like one giant
Yeah.
clump. I feel like I hit the lottery. Like caramel popcorn, people like for whatever reason they look down on caramel popcorn. They're like, "Oh, you eat just the caramel?" Like, yeah, this is candy. I'm in it for the
Right.
candy. This is a treat for me. Don't look at me weird. I want this. Like,
My number
step back.
2 is the Lakeshore mix, though.
It's so
So
good.
that's the cheddar popcorn and caramel corn.
The remainder, I
Mhm.
don't love the seagull figures.
You get to the bottom, and it is the rocks. It is rock salt. It will shatter all of your
Not
teeth.
a fan. I just, dude, I would just say, like, let's
Top layer, throw away the rest.
let's bypass the digging. Let's bypass the popcorn ism where you're just gonna pretend like you're gonna eat the regular popcorn because you're not. Just give me the caramel corn. I'm ready for the decadence. Let's do it.
I'm on board.
Big levers and corn. I like
And
it.
John Wick Chapter 4. All
John
right.
Wick Chapter 4.
So let's do this schmiv away and let's close this sucker out because everybody's got some spring bass fishing to do.
Diabetes.
I got the diabetes.
Why is that funny?
I only eat the caramel.
I don't care.
Whoa!
Who won?
Limping Fisherman has won. All right. Congrats. I mean, Chaz, you are a
Chaz
limping
broke his
fisherman
leg,
right
so he
now.
goes, "Wait, that's me."
You are not the limping fisherman right now. So,
you're a limping fisherman.
Limping fisherman, you gotta say, "Hey, I'm here" before we close this out, so that we know that we can actually award this wonderful schmiv to somebody.
Joshua goes, "Congrats, limp."
That's his name. That's his name. All right, hooray!
Is absolutely scorching right now.
All right, so
big lever style. The lymph, you get it?
I want Gomex's to come out with like 190 millimeter, like a 200 millimeter handle. That's just like,
tell me more.
Tell me I don't have more torque now. Like you come into my house and you tell me this.
Oh, that's a big lever.
That's a big lever. Just everybody's gonna see the Magnum lever. All right, so stay tuned for the aggressively average anglers line of Gomex's Magnum handles. All right, limping fisherman, follow the instructions on the screen. Chaz has just said that. I want before we like laugh ourselves to death here. Make sure you do that so we can get you this wonderful schmiv away. I've got you 8 baits in a bag here. What did I say? Wear gloves, kids, when you open this box because there's sharp points on the ends of it. All right. But there you go. That's a wrap on this show. We appreciate you all for hanging out with us. As we mentioned before, not only will we be back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, as per always, we will also be back Tuesday for our members. So if you are a Shart Deuce member or a Snorlax Crew member, you can actually come on a special show we do every single month. We do some special schmivaways on there with sometimes reels, which we'll be doing this week. So hang tight. We appreciate you guys. And other than that, let's go fishing this weekend? Paul, you want to come?
We're gonna do our best. We're gonna sling some prayers.
You guys see a video on the monster bass rods coming out real soon. I think next Monday. With actually fishing them, putting them to the test. We unboxed them, we fished them. We're gonna actually stress test these things. So we've got some real fun videos coming your guys' way where we are gonna do stuff to fishing rods that should not be done to fishing rods.
We're having it. Oh, you know what? We'll ask it on the members only. I need to know if you are going to make an insane video and potentially destroy a monster bass rod. How would you do it? We'll call it the stress test. My idea so far: attach it to my truck, and then try and tow Jeff on a sled. That was my first
like
one.
I'm reeling in a big old tuna.
Like maybe going 30.
Then we're gonna cast a cinder block with a treble hook on it. We're gonna call it the Mega Bass Mag Draft 85.
The Mega Drop. The other one was I was gonna do like a tow off where Jeff and I both have on the back of our kayaks a frogging rod, and we both pedal in opposite directions and see if we can break one of the rods. So yeah, bring your ideas. We're interested parties, and we're probably gonna do some of that stuff, if not all of it. So yeah, keep thinking about that. We'll ask you again on Tuesday. We love you guys.
All right, appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. See y'all then. Chaz, I think this is the part where you take us out. Is that how this works? I can't remember how to. Chaz, take us out.
Took a swing at a wrecking ball and I prayed for my downfall, and I found a way to reconcile, 'cause in my heart it's not worthwhile. It's a bloody battlefield where some go down, others heal. In the end it's all the same. All you can do is play the game. Oh, do we say goodbye? Refuse to question why. I deserve to say I'm sorry, so lie. Pretend that you're okay. Swear that you will stay. Keep trying for one day. I'm sick of all these lies. Don't care if I capsize. There's nothing left for me to hide. Don't wanna live a lie. Too many lows, too many highs. Too many things to criticize. And so I leave it all behind. Don't wanna live a lie. Life kept spitting at my feet.